At least it's Friday. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks POSTGAME Podcast. The Blackhawks lose 6-1 to the Minnesota Wild at the United Center in their final full dress rehearsal of the preseason. They play again against the Blues tomorrow night in Milwaukee, which was supposed to be kind of a thrown together roster. I wonder if that plan changes after tonight. I'm Jay Zawaski. That's Greg Boysen. Sarah's here. Her friend Grace is here too, hanging out, watching Grace. The show. Picked a great show to show up for, Grace. 6-1 loss. Fun times. Look, we got a lot to get to today.
I blame Grace for the effort.
Grace!
The bad juju.
It was bad. And usually to start the show, we recap the scoring. You don't need us to do that. It started out bad. It ended worse. 6-1 final score. The only Hawk to score was Seth Jones, and he is one of the nominees for a 4-star of the game. The other is Ryan Donato, two guys that showed up in this one, and that's really about it. So, Greg, where do we begin with this? I think, we always caution it's the preseason. It doesn't mean anything. Adam Gaudette has 4 goals in 4 games for the Ottawa Senators. Take the preseason with a grain of salt, and that is true. But we have seen throughout this preseason, the Hawks playing like ass for the vast majority of it. And that's concerning.
It is. But you also have to remember, it is still preseason. And it's preseason for a team that has 7 new players on it. You got a whole new roster.
Yes.
These guys need time. They have not played. Some of these guys have only played in 2 games. You don't have your full team out there. Yes, it is not looked great. But it is not like I'm not ready to pitchfork and torch time. These guys need time to get some chemistry going together.
Well, you're right.
And yeah, it's not looking great, but like when you watch it live, when you're there up top, it's like things are just like a half step behind. Like the passes are just missing. Guys quite not ready for a pass here or just out of position. Those are things that will get corrected the more you play with your new linesmates. There is, there's more. And nobody on this team wants to shoot damn puck.
Well, that's a whole other thing.
That's my biggest concern right now. Is like the sloppiness will get better. There's just too many proven, established veterans on this team that's why I'm not worried. If this was a young team, if it was 9 rookies out there playing bad, then I'd be like, oh boy, this is gonna be awful all season long. You've got too many good, established veteran players who have played at a high level in this league for a long time. That's where I could go, okay, I'm not super worried that sloppiness will correct itself, but this team I'm more concerned about the lack of aggressiveness to shoot the puck. Everybody is looking to pass.
Yes,
shoot.
I tweeted it out. It is not a selfish gesture to shoot the puck. And I feel like there's some guys on this team that feel that way where I've got a good look, but boy, if I'm able to get this pass through these 2 defenders to that stick blade, it's going to be a beauty highlight reel goal, and I'm going to help my buddy out. Just shoot the puck. We saw a point in the second period where Isaac Phillips was out there, Nolan Allen were out there, and they're like, F it, we're just throwing the puck at the net. And 2 or 3 of those opportunities, they hit Marc-Andre Fleury. They bounce free. There's a rebound chance. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be Harlem Globetrotters on ice. This team does not have the talent to play that way. I'm sorry. They're a much better team. I agree with you, Greg. I think that things are going to get better. Those passes just missing, which we saw a million times tonight, and those opportunities where they maybe do opt to pass instead of shoot, maybe someone's ready for it next time or in better position to receive it next time as these guys get to know each other. What troubles me, though, is how badly it's going. It's not just, wow, they lost every preseason game. It's, wow, they got dominated in every preseason game. And it's not like they played the Oilers and the Avalanche and the elite teams in this league. It was Detroit twice. It was Minnesota twice. St. Louis twice. That's it. And these are teams, we're going to do our prediction show on Monday. Not a lot of playoff teams in there, in our mind, I don't think.
No. But it's all about chemistry and clicking. The Wild have been a juggernaut in this postseason. Why?
Preseason.
Yeah, I always say that. I don't know why. Because we're in the post-game show. Whatever. I don't care. The Wild are clicking this preseason.
Correct. Yes.
They have scored 27 goals in their 6 games. That's 4.5 goals a game.
Yeah.
This was a team that averaged 302 last season. They were 21st in the league in scoring. So again, these are preseason things. But why are the Minnesota Wild look so good in the preseason? Because they added one new guy to their roster, Jakob Trenin.
That's it.
Everybody else has played with each other for 2, 3, 4 seasons. They've got chemistry. That's why they look so good and putting up 4.5 goals a night.
Yes. Look, you said this.
You just got to put things in perspective.
And
sucks.
It's hard.
It looks bad, but everybody's back to zero come Tuesday.
I'm going to say, like, this is going to sound crazy. And it is so, the biggest challenge of this job is to come on the air fresh off a loss and not be emotional and not be like to try to, like, I was sitting there on the couch as the game was winding down, trying to like collect my thoughts, trying to look at it reasonably, you know what I mean? And you're doing a good job of steering me back that way. And you did talk about this yesterday
seems
with
to be my job on this
so
show.
many new faces. It's going to take time. And this is going to sound like a crazy statement, but aside from the score and those lapses, those 3-4 minutes where the Hawks let down, it was kind of even. Like the Hawks in the second period had the puck more. They were in the offensive zone more. Part of that had to do with power plays, that's for sure. But boy, you get one weird goal from center ice. That makes things look weird. The Kaprizov goal was like just a brilliant redirection. I'm not making excuses, but like I feel like the game itself wasn't as lopsided as the score, but it still is just concerning that you're seeing these football scores from the other team you're playing.
Yeah, and like it just seems that like if there's no such thing as bad luck, the Blackhawks would have no luck at all. They were 13 seconds away from killing off that Pat Maroon double minor penalty.
Yeah, and they did a great job on that kill.
In the previous 3 minutes and 47 seconds, they had only given up one shot on goal, and then they scored. And then that silly goal from center ice, I still don't know what was going on there. Like Peter Mrazek was like,
I think he thought it was a dump.
I think he thought he was going to dump it in, tried to cheat, and then stopped when he realized it wasn't. And then hit off his skate and went in. Like that's just silliness. You know, and then they score, and Seth Jones gets the goal, and you think, okay, they played well in that second period up to that point. They
get back in the game.
The power play stinks because they're not shooting. They get that goal, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe we have a game here in the third period, and then 26 seconds later, they give up the goal to Rossi to make it 3-1, and then we left the United Center. It was 3-1 by the time we got back in here because you took the longest route back here ever. It was 5-1.
Sorry. Hey, I spared us 2 bad goals. Come on.
So it's just like, it sucks. It sucks watching this. I get why people are worried. I understand why they're concerned, but it's still preseason. Somebody asked, well, how long do we give them to find chemistry? As long as it effing takes.
Yeah.
What are your choices
you have a choice.
Here? This is your roster. It's got 7 new players that weren't here last year. You could technically say 8 because Taylor Hall was barely here.
And you could say 9 because Nolan Allen didn't play up here all
year.
Right.
I mean, I think Nolan Allen will be back in Rockford. I really think they're going to take 3 goalies with them on this first road trip. So they don't IR Persois so he can skate and play.
But he's on the non-roster injured list.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Which they did today. Same with Kaiser.
But
Kaiser's on IR, retroactive to the 19th, and then Brossoit and Levchinov.
But you've got 7 new guys, and Taylor Hall essentially 8. These guys got to figure out how to play with each other. And it doesn't really happen a whole lot of in the preseason because guys aren't playing every day. You have a huge roster to start camp, so not as much touches as you want to get. I'm not making excuses. These are facts.
No, it's facts. Yeah.
So if they come back from the 4-game road trip and they're 0-4 and they've been outscored 32-2,
I'm quitting. That's the case.
We will not have any more post-game shows, but it's just going to be, then yes, we can be mad, we can be angry, but even if that does happen, that's still 4 games out of 82. You got to let this gel. Yes, it's veterans, but you just can't go out with new coworkers. If you change jobs and you're working in a new office with people, you just can't get in on day one and gel and be like, hey, let's do this. No, you have to learn what everybody's role is. You have to figure out what their tendencies are. Who microwaves fish in the microwave?
Hey man, we're still recovering from bad reviews from the first 2 weeks of the show.
Yeah,
our Apple Podcast reviews are not as high as they should be because we had 2 bad weeks after a jarring switch for people. By the way, saw James Naveau tonight, and he is now available to come on this show. It's exciting.
Awesome.
We're gonna put him on. But it does take time to gain chemistry. So
it does.
You're
Jay
right.
and I have been working together
You're
for almost
right.
3 years, and we have no chemistry. So
it's just hard. It's just hard. Like, we so badly, as people that do the show 5 days a week, we do 82 post games plus preseason, hopefully plus postseason someday. It is hard to not, like, when these games happen, to feel it emotionally and get frustrated about it. I'm speaking for myself. This was a frustrating experience because I'm the guy that gets excited because there's a hockey game tonight.
Right.
Every night. I don't care how bad the team is. I don't care what the expectations are. There is hockey tonight, and I'm going to go see it. And then I go see it, and it's that, and it pisses me off. You are correct. It's going to take time. We said it yesterday in a calmer mindset. It is a completely reasonable thing to say, is a completely true thing to say. We got to give it time. We have to give it time. And for those that are questioning Luke Richardson, I did a funny thing today. Someone tweeted at me, when is Luke Richardson going to tell this team to shoot? So just for funsies, I typed Luke Richardson shoot into Twitter. Okay, so
he says it every day. Every day. We need these guys to shoot more.
Yeah,
we need these guys to shoot more. It's not Luke Richardson telling them to shoot. It's them shooting.
It's constant. It's just, if you go through the feed, it is 2023. Luke Richardson encouraging team. It just never ends. It's so funny. And of course, anytime things are bad, there needs to be someone to blame, and everyone's blaming the coach. The coach can't make players connect on passes. The coach can't go out and force a player to shoot. Now, can there be consequences for these things? Yes. If the same mistakes keep happening, then I think there will be. And this is what we talked about yesterday, where you wonder, like, Lucas Reichel, Andreas Athanasiou, they're out of the lineup, they're on the roster. Now that it's not Rem Pitlick and Zach Sanford and a bunch of dudes off the street, you have the opportunity to say, I don't like the way you played in this game. You're sitting. Or you've done, of your last 5 games, 3 have been bad. You're sitting. Now they have that luxury. So this is where, and look, don't make no mistake. At the end of the season, all the leadership on this team, Seth Jones, who I hope we hear from here in a second, Nick Foligno, all talked about more accountability. More accountability. If this rolls into the regular season, this will be an opportunity for Luke Richardson to show some accountability for the team. Okay, we are going to hit the break zone. Before we do, please do us a favor and smash that like button. We have a lot of people watching and not a lot of people liking. I know you're frustrated, but the like button helps us out. It also punishes the Blackhawks.
Yes, if you want to fire Luke Richardson, hit the like button. If you don't think it's his fault, hit the like button.
Yes.
Both things are true.
All right, so we'll be back in a moment on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. But with Empire today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Who doesn't want those things on their new floors? Empire today, you know this by now. You're from Chicago. It's the best place to get new flooring. Don't go with their copycats. Go with Empire, because they are going to put only quality flooring in your house. And if you're not sure, it's a big investment, be it from Empire or someone more expensive. You want to know how it's going to look. You don't want to guess. You want to pay for it and say, ugh, I don't like that. After all, they've got their virtual floor designer. Snap a picture, and you'll see exactly how those new floors are going to look in your house. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 discount when they use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details.
Hey, if you want to ruin those brand new floors, maybe you give our pals over at Blue Chew a call.
That's gross.
Everything about this read is kind of gross. Hey, does Blue Chew work? If you're asking that question, we want you to know Blue Chew is putting their money where their mouth is by giving you a month absolutely free. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost, and it comes in a chewable form, hence the name Blue Chew. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared to ship directly to your door. The best part, it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in the line at the pharmacy. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises.
Oh, I see what you did.
Yeah. So make sure you and I lost the CT. This is the worst constructed thing I have seen in a long time. I'm all flustered here with all this talk about boners. And we've got a special deal for our listeners.
Hey, you leave me out of this.
You can try talking about the guy from Growing Pains. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ALLCITY at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code ALLCITY to receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. Use your blue pills responsibly, and we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
Yes, we do. All right.
Power play needs some Blue Chew.
Yes,
Maybe
they
that's
certainly do.
put some Blue Chew in the water bottles behind the bench.
Well, all right. We're going to hear from Mario in the second half of the show. He's doing his post-game duties, but he sent in Seth Jones. We have not heard this yet. He said it's worth playing. So let's hear what Seth Jones had to say after the 6-1 loss to the Minnesota Wild.
Are gone.
We just need to get on the same page, and when it comes to our D zone, and I just think when one thing goes wrong, it kind of leaks into the rest of our game, and we can't seem to stop the bleeding.
That was kind of how last year went too, pretty much, right? I mean, is that a concern that it still seems like the same sort of problems?
I wish I had all the answers. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't even know what to say. It's just been an embarrassing couple of games, especially, we play our full lineup. Many plays their full lineup really the past two games, and we've, laid stinkers. And that's something that we need to just go back to the drawing board and, understand how we need to play for 60 minutes, not just 10 minutes here and then take 15 minutes off. And now it's 4-1, 5-1. So we need to find a way to be consistent.
And this is a veteran team now. Is there just an assumption you'll be able to flip the switch on Tuesday?
No, you don't flip switches. We have to. We're going to need to actually this time, but it's going to be a hostile environment in Utah. We need to be ready to play. 60 minutes hard. Sometimes you got to do the things that we don't want to do, the non-flashy things, get some dirty goals, some rebound goals, some tip goals into our game instead of, trying to rush chances and turn the pucks over and it's down our throat.
Is this frustrating that some of these things are still an issue even with new personnel?
Yes.
How is the effort level in the preseason games? Do you feel like guys are going their hardest, or is there some of that?
I think guys are battling. I just think we need, like you said, a lot of new faces. We need to get on the same page when it comes to some of our systems. Go back to video. I'm sure we'll do some tomorrow, and we need to figure out what to do in certain situations. And it's not going to be perfect. We understand it's a game of mistakes, but we need to limit those. And if one guy makes a mistake, we can't have 2-3 mistakes right after, because that's when it's in the net.
How much of this can you really attribute to there are a bunch of new guys in this lineup, but on the pairings and on the lines, of just guys kind of getting used to other guys and where other guys are on the ice and how other guys treat situations? Is that anything involved in this sort of thing at this point?
I don't know. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
That is a very frank Seth Jones. I like that. No nonsense.
He's a guy that hates to lose.
Clearly. Yeah, I mean,
despite the Blackhawks record since he's been here, he hates to lose.
What?
And Seth is honest, and when he's frustrated, he lets you know.
Right. And it's, are you frustrated? Yes. Is this the problem? I don't know. I don't he's not going to, it would have been very easy for him to say, oh yeah, we can definitely chalk it up to that. A lot of new faces. And it's true and it's right and all those things. But that's a guy who doesn't want to hear it. And he said it right. 10 good minutes here, 10 good minutes there. No, it's got to be 60. And this was the problem all of last season. The entire year was the 60-minute efforts, which is crazy because Luke Richardson's first year on the team that was designed to tank for Connor Bedard consistently gave you 60 minutes of what they had. It wasn't a lot most nights because they weren't very good, but at least they gave you everything they had. And now last year and so far in this preseason, it hasn't been the case. So it's something to keep an eye on. There's no one to fire right now. No firing Kyle Davidson. No firing Luke Richardson. But this season, as we've discussed all offseason, we're going to look at this differently. And we're going to be critical after games. If the performances are bad, we're going to call it out. And we have to because they have changed expectations.
Yes.
By signing a bunch of veterans, by bringing in a bunch of leaders, in air quotes, all that stuff, you have raised expectations. You're selling it as a raised expectation season. So there you go. We're going to treat it as such.
This is true. And yes, when the games start counting, if the efforts are this laughable, then yes, the criticism will come. I'm just not ready to start screaming into preseason. It's because it doesn't count. And yes, bad habits can form early, but again, too many veterans on this team for it to be this bad for 82 games.
Right.
And if it is, then a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Not just Luke Richardson. A lot of these guys that were brought in here are going to be like, well, it's going to be better. I mean, it can't be much worse than this. The bar is low, but this team that we have said all summer is going to be improved and going to get into the 70s in points and be competitive and play meaningful games later into the season. That's still going to be there. I am confident in that. I don't let games that don't count on 3 practices make me make declarations. It's just not the way how this works. The Colorado Avalanche has looked like ass this preseason.
Avalanche.
They look like the Avalanche.
So much fun to say.
Do you think they're going to miss the playoffs and you should fire Jared Bednard and trade Cale Makar? No.
Well,
I mean, you could trade him here.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take that.
But
no, you're right. You're right. But there's a track record with Colorado.
Sure.
And what bothers me and what had me fired up in the first segment is the same crap we saw last year. But you're right. It is. I am confident in saying that 70% of this is lack of chemistry, lack of time spent together, all those sort of things. So there you have it. Sarah, somebody with the Dunkin' Donuts logo on a cup had a good comment I want to get to. I forget the name. It's up a little bit there. Maybe it was in the super chat. Yeah, there it is. Ryan. Sorry, Ryan. Ryan says the process is an issue that needs to be addressed, that we don't seem to have a process at this point before the season. I'm not sure what you mean by process, but what I want to just be clear, like, we're at every practice. At least one of us is at every practice. Most of the time, it's all 3 of us. And again, what they do during practice makes all the sense in the world. There's nothing weird going on. I've seen Hawks practices for 20 years. It looks like it did when they not quite as skilled, more crossbars and glass being hit than the dynasty days. But still, the practices look the same. The intensity looks the same. The process of getting these guys ready is fine. At some point, the players have to do it. The players have to be the ones to decide, Look, Teuvo Teravainen, who we all love, knows I'm not going to get a pass through 3 guys, but he tried it 2 or 3 times tonight.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's players making decisions. Like, a coach can't be in, they don't have an earpiece like the quarterback.
It's not NHL.
Shoot, pass.
Luke Richardson isn't on the bench with a controller forcing these guys to pass when they should be shooting.
My only concern with that, with the coaching, is if the message just isn't getting through and they're not responding at all after 10, 15, 20 games this year, then I've got concerns. I don't have that right now.
No, because you're seeing that Andreas Anthony and Lucas Reichel have been on the green shirt, we don't really exist, but we're still here line the last few days of practice. I'm sure they're both going to play tomorrow just because of back-to-back. But those guys are likely going to be healthy scratches to start the season. That's accountability. That's message sending.
Yeah.
With a deeper team that they have this year, Luke Richardson can hold guys more accountable. He couldn't do that last year when you literally only had 13 live bodies at practice. Like, who are you going to bench some of these guys for? They wanted to send Lucas Reichel back to the AHL in January, but they couldn't because they didn't have any NHL players to take his spot. So you want to see, and if there isn't the accountability, like, players play bad, they're bad players, whatever. But if you keep those guys and keep giving them their opportunities without trying to make a change then you could start questioning Luke Richardson. Where's the accountability? I think we're already seeing the accountability out there, and with a deeper, better roster with more NHL caliber players, you can sit a guy for a game or two, and it's not like, okay, well, now I have to play Rem Pitlick on the top power play unit. Like, it's not going to be like that.
Right. I'm smiling because the Blue Lions have arrived. It's so sorted by game score. How many Minnesota Wild players do you have to get to before you get to a Hawk?
How many did they
on
dress?
the list of highest? So it's highest game score to lowest game score according to various metrics. How many Minnesota Wild players do you think you have to get to? And I'll give you a hint. It's a lot.
No kidding. They dressed 18, right? It can't be like 20. Like, even the healthy scratches had a better game score. 18, I would say you've got to go through. I'm even going to guess who the highest game score for the Blackhawks is. I'm going to guess you had to go through 13 Wild before you saw Ryan Donato.
You had to they do the goalies.
Okay.
18.
That sounds about right.
Nick Foligno was the highest rated Hawk. Alex Vlasic, Jason Dickinson, then Marc-Andre Fleury.
See, this is why I don't like the Blue Lines, because I like, to me, I would have thought the highest
Donato's
game score
right
would
there.
have been Donato.
They're very close. They're fractions apart.
I mean, yeah, it's not, none of it's good, but this is why we have our own.
The only Minnesota Wild player
worse than
that did not
Vlasic.
finish above Foligno, Vlasic, or Dickinson is Marc-Andre Fleury. That is amazing. All right, we're going to hit the break zone. Mario is standing by. We'll talk to him next here on CHGO Blackhawks.
But first, we want to tell you about Shady Rays. This read is slightly less embarrassing. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all your outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. They probably have a style in your favorite team's colors. Hopefully that team is a preseason juggernaut. Plus, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There is no risk when you shop, but their team always has your back with personal and fast support. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to ShadyRays.com. Use the promo code CHGO, and you're going to get 35% off your order. Try for yourself the shades rated by five stars by well over 300,000 people. It's got to be close to 400 by now.
I would imagine so. And hockey season's here officially on Monday. We're going to be in Tuesday. We're going to be in Utah.
Do the Blackhawks know?
On Tuesday. And it's time for you to get fitted out in the best sports gear around from our friends at FOCO. Hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. Going to a basketball or hockey game? Show off your love with team-branded friendship bracelets. Not anywhere near Drew McIntyre. Whether it's jackets, beachwear, or even overalls, there is something for fans for almost every occasion. FOCO has donated some of our awesome set pieces here, so go show them some love. Check out FOCO.com or click the link in the description below. And for all non-presale items, use the promo code CHGO10 for 10% off. Before we bring Mario into the show, he is standing by at the United Center. I want to talk to the chat, and it is cool to disagree. It is not cool to name call and be jerks to each other, so feel free to disagree civilly or just ignore each other if someone is bothering you that badly.
The block button
is your
works.
friend. Exactly. So let's keep the chat civil. Let's not name call and make fun of people.
Sarah's ready to launch all of you.
Yeah,
right
no
here.
matter how bad the take is, we don't have to be mean to each other.
We do have a timeout power button.
Ooh.
In the back
well, Sarah,
end.
you have full authority to wield the timeout
I
button
have put
anytime
people
you
in
want.
timeouts
If you want to
before.
put me in a timeout, I will gladly take that.
Thank you. And we, by the way, we also see your super chats. We're going to get to those in a little bit. Do us a favor, too, and hit that like button for us. All right, let's get to Mario. He is standing by at the UC. Mario, I see you sending Luke Richardson. Why don't you tell us what we heard post-game?
You heard that the team still needs some time to get things together, get some chemistry going. Richardson talked about how, all teams in the preseason are in the same boat where they're attempting to get young guys some ice time while also getting their NHL regulars the same amount, if not more, ice time to get themselves together and get ready for the regular season. And to that, I say these teams that are blowing out the Blackhawks, they're in the same boat. So why is it that they're the ones on the opposite ends of 6-1 and 7-2 wins, namely the Wild, and the Blackhawks are not? I think there is truth to that every team is in the same boat, but this is a Blackhawks team that is getting a lot of NHL regulars, NHL veterans in the lineup now, and that was at the request of basically the prominent players in the locker room saying, we don't want to go through what we went through last year. And so Kyle Davidson, in agreement, went out and made a lot of changes. And going through this preseason, even though a lot of the personnel is different, a lot of the results have looked very similar. A lot of the games have looked very similar. The laundry looks the same. The players are different, and the product on the ice is the same. So I don't know where the answer therein lies. Seth Jones was very confused and unsure of what the answer is, and really it feels very concerning for this team that has no track record of being able to turn things around quickly or being able to quote unquote flip switches. That Tuesday in Utah, a switch shall be flipped and anything's going to look different. So, I think that was kind of the biggest takeaway from both Seth and Luke, is that they have to be able to not let 1 and 2 and 3 bad things snowball into getting the game out of reach. It's what happened in the last few games, and it's what happened a lot last year. So they need to break those habits rather quickly. Unfortunately, I don't get the sense that we're going to get an NHL lineup like we did tonight in tomorrow's game in Milwaukee. So that breaking of habits is going to have to happen Tuesday. And they're going to practice a couple more times here before heading out to Utah. And Then they have the honor of playing the Utahns in the first game in franchise history on national TV and on ESPN. So I'm hoping they figure it out.
So you sort of alluded to it. Was he asked directly, Luke, if he's going to play the veterans next game as kind of a, well, we need to do this chemistry, so here's one more opportunity to do it?
No, it wasn't addressed directly. Yeah, I mean, I think as we kind of assumed going into this back-to-back that it wouldn't be really NHL heavy the second night. I don't know if he's going to, bag skate these guys and say, no, you're playing back-to-backs. You got to figure it out. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but honestly, after tonight's performance, I would consider that, because if the big thing is these guys need some time to get together and figure out each other's tendencies and get on the same pages, well, doing that in games is the way you're going to do that. And, tomorrow's game is the last opportunity to where, quote unquote, the results don't matter. The points don't matter. I sound like whose line is it anyway, but the points in the standings don't matter. That's the last game of that tomorrow. So I don't think he's going to make that kind of lineup change. But if it were me, I would consider it, seeing what this team has done so far this preseason, and the expectations that I think this roster should have for this season. So far, I've seen from the NHL guys that are supposed to shoulder that load, I haven't seen anything that really gives me a lot of confidence in that.
Yeah, I'm not even saying like as punishment, but yeah, it's very clear that this team does need time to gel. And I guess you look around the league and you see a lot of marquee names injured in preseason games. So there's that fear there, which is reasonable. I don't think one preseason game is going to change the chemistry too much, but I don't know, the accountability a little bit, getting the chemistry going a little bit. I think it would send a bit of a message, but look, I think in 10 days from now, we're going to completely forget about this game. It's not going to matter. Everyone forgot the Bears were undefeated in the preseason and looked like juggernauts. And then all of a sudden,
Tyler Bajan for life.
They're 2-2, and we don't know what they are, right? So we can't make too much of it. It's just, I don't know. It, like you said, Mario, the trends remain, and that's what's a little bit disturbing. But Greg has been the voice of reason tonight, so maybe he can help you too, because you look as frustrated as I do.
Well, no.
What's the reason? I'm curious, because I know it is just the preseason, but what about this team tells you it's just the preseason, it's going to be okay?
Well, the fact you've got 7 guys that weren't here last year, 8 if you want to include Taylor Hall, all guys who have played in the NHL and who have played at a high level for multiple seasons. They need time to work together. That doesn't excuse playing this poorly. And you said earlier that the Wild are playing in the preseason too, but the Wild have had the same team here now for multiple seasons in a row. They added one new guy, Yakov Trenin. Like they know where each other's going to be on the ice. They know Marco Rossi's going to cut to the ice here. Marco Rossi knows that Brock Faber is going to get the puck on his stick as long as he's like, they know these things. The core of this Blackhawks team, they're still trying to figure that out. That's why I'm not like ready to declare this a lost season before they play one game that counts. I'm more concerned. What concerns me more than the sloppiness and the discombobulation that we're seeing out there is this team's stubbornness when it comes to not shooting the puck. That is what's got me more concerned. The missing in the passes and some of the blown coverage, that's stuff that happens in the preseason. That's why you play preseason games, to clean that up. It's the Teuvo Teravainen in a wide open shooting lane looking to pass the puck across the ice over 3 sticks instead. It's Connor Bedard doing the same thing, having a shooting lane from 10 feet in front of the net, but trying to get it to someone, force the puck to. It's like, that's the stuff that bothers me more than the X's and O's and the sloppy play or the missed passes, stuff like that. If this team could just be more aggressive and shoot more, we'd probably feel a whole lot better.
That's where my big frustration was coming during the game. It's like, oh my God, put the puck on. Like, you've got an open lane. Like, even Bedard at points was like, dude, you've got a historically lethal cannon attached to your arm. Use it. Fire that shot. And he got a great shot off on Marc-Andre Fleury, who made an amazing glove save. But man, like, we talked about it last year when we were doing our Connor's Corner. Like, man, every game he's going to have 5 or 6 shots on goal at least. And it wasn't always the case. Like, this year, Bedard should be 5, 6, 7 shots on goal a night. Because if he has a look, he should be firing it. And I think it's got to translate to the whole team. And Mario, you missed it earlier. We were talking about a shift in the second period where it was Phillips and Allen. And they had some zone time. And Isaac Phillips, like, put, 3 shot attempts on net? Like, in one shift? Those guys are just like, F it. Like, let's go for it. That, I think Greg's right. Like, that's what got me more in this game than anything was, oh my God, you're down 5 goals. Take a shot. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, they need to be more aggressive. I think if we start seeing this team shoot the puck more, then we can be like, all right, they're shooting. The pucks will go in at some point.
Yeah, I think both. Yes, that also frustrated the hell out of me tonight because it's something we said all of last season as well. Richardson post game said that that there's a tendency for these guys to, once they get down a couple of goals, try and get it all back in one shot, which is not possible, and that also gets them out of their out of positioning, out of structure, and gets them out of their game to try and do too much all at once. But again, I kind of come back and say, well, they got to try something, and cycling the puck to, try and set up this perfect tic-tac-toe backdoor tap-in. They don't have the horses to be able to do that. This isn't the 2013 Blackhawks anymore. Like, this is a team that needs to play simple, needs to play north and south, and they have more talented guys now. The simplified game that they had, that they should have been doing all of last year, of just get the puck on net, try and get rebounds, deflections, screened goals, play dirty around the net. Like, they should still be doing that. That is the bread and butteriest way of playing hockey, to try and simplify the game and score goals. They should still be doing that, even with this influx of a veteran group, and a group that, has more experience and has more skill and ability to play a little bit more freely, a little bit more creatively, but get the simple things done right before then you start getting a little bit more creative. So yeah, it is entirely frustrating that, this is a team that is just, it's detrimentally, unselfish when it comes to, get the puck on net and shooting when a lane is there. And, Luke Richardson earlier in training camp basically shrugged his shoulders and was like, I don't know why it's so difficult for these guys to just shoot the puck when they have an open lane. And he's giving them that green light. It comes down to the players taking it. And I don't know. I want Bedard to utilize his shot more often. He has the best one on the team and arguably one of the best in the league. And at this point, as we get to the beginning of the regular season, if it's Bedard, that makes the most sense because the shot's the best, but I don't care who it is. If it's Pat Maroon or Craig Smith or Ryan Donato, it doesn't matter. I want someone on this team to have a pair of big ones and say, when I have a shot on goal, I'm taking it. I don't care if we can try and set up, a nice cross ice one-timer. I don't care. I'm trying to score. I'm trying to take the simple play and score. Look at the goal that they scored tonight with Seth Jones. He could have, dumped it off across the crease, could have dumped it down in the corner. He made a move and drove to the net. And yeah, it wasn't the prettiest goal, but it went in, right? Like, you even sometimes not the highest percentage chances still go in. Like, there's never a bad opportunity to try and put the puck towards the net, which is the point of hockey, is to score goals. So I want it to be so simple that it's second nature to them, that they have the puck, they have an open lane, it's on net. And at the very least, if there's a save and the puck is frozen, okay, offensive zone draw. If it's saved, but it's a rebound, it goes in a corner, win a board battle, get it back. If it's saved and it's knocked down and there's a scramble in net, a lot of times those get knocked in too. Like, shooting the puck is never a bad thing. Like, you will not be yelled at for shooting the puck at the net. You shouldn't be.
Yeah. All right, we're going to spring in a second, Mario, but first we have to reveal the winner of Who's Your Hawk. And we got to reveal, too.
We got a new, we're replacing the...
As of right now, we have, what is it, 177?
No, you're talking about 4-star. We're talking about Who's Your Hawk.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
In which I am the winner. And we have a new swag chain.
Yes.
My daughter's friend Aaron made this for us. This is a 3D printed Blackhawks logo. So, since it's my night, I get to wear it for the first time. If you want to get some from Aaron, AG Design 103 on Instagram. He's the one who made this.
Thank you, Aaron.
I had Connor Bedard.
Nice.
I mean, picking Connor Bedard this preseason has paid off. Paid off.
Go ahead, holder
funny
of
how
the
that works.
key. Yep.
Yeah, it is. You guys had 3 points with that assist. The rest of us was not great. Yeah. Congratulations, Jay.
Thank you.
Welcome to your first win of the preseason.
I'm done getting cute. Got to try to win now. Preseason's over.
It took your team a few games to gel.
Yeah.
And finally get it together. So there's hope. There's hope.
That's right. Absolutely.
If Jay can win a preseason, Who's Your Hawk? The Blackhawks can win a regular season.
Anything is possible.
The Blackhawks can win some regular season hockey games.
Yes.
I'm inspired.
See,
You can change.
It's
I can
not
change.
over.
We all can change.
All right, Mario. Thanks for your hustle. We'll talk to you tomorrow. You'll be in Milwaukee. We'll be here. So we'll see
I'll be in
you.
Milwaukee.
We'll see you in Utah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Well, we're going to see him at the airport.
That's true. We will see him at the airport.
We're on the same
Well,
flight.
we'll see you on Monday too when we do our totally live
Yes.
season preview show.
Our totally live
Correct.
season preview show where I'm going to accidentally wear this same shirt again.
Well, you did laundry over the weekend. All right.
Yeah, I did.
Thanks, Mario. We'll talk to you.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Now I know, Sarah, we do have the winner of the Chat's 4-star. And I know it was close because I can see what you're working on during the show. And you made
was
2
very
graphics.
close.
So who actually ended up winning?
As of right now, we have 103 votes, and Jones won with 51% of the votes.
Wow, that's
but
a close one.
The whole
Seth
show,
Jones won a 4-star.
the whole show, it was 50-50.
Wow.
That's
I'm
great.
actually rather surprised. I figure if we gave our chat the option of Seth Jones or not Seth Jones, the not Seth Jones would have won. But,
That's usually the case.
but he scored the goal, and you know what? I think put him over the top. I think a lot of people voted for him after they heard his post-game interview. Like, yeah, that's
Definitely
what we're all feeling. But Seth Jones had the goal, finished a -1, played 24-22, 3 shots on goal, 7 shot attempts, 2 hits, and a block shot. That's a Seth Jones night.
Yeah. And I think maybe people are starting to come around on him a little bit. And with the cap going up and the Hawks cap situation anyway, they're realizing, hey, maybe this guy's paid a little bit too much, but he's still pretty damn good and pretty damn valuable. And I think we are starting to see more than ever his leadership in the room, too. It really stood out at the end of last year, had good things to say today. So good job, Seth Jones.
Just to put it in perspective, those 2 guys combined for 16 shot attempts between Donato and Seth Jones.
Felt like it.
And the Blackhawks finished with 56 total shot attempts as a team.
Yeah.
So those were the 2 guys that were engaged. Donato was engaged from the opening puck. That was a guy that was like, hey, I haven't played much. There's a lot of guys, like, I'm one of those guys that might lose some playing time if I don't bring it. And he said, take me out of this lineup. I dare you.
All right. How are we on time? All right. How long is the Luke Richardson? I saw that he sent it in.
That's only like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes.
Oh, really?
If I
Okay,
looked
let's do
right.
this. Let's knock out super
Don't
chats.
quote me.
Okay, let's knock out the super chats right now because we've been waiting too long to do that, and then we'll play Luke, and then we'll wrap things up. First of all, thanks to Week Hockey with a $14 super chat. Says, decided to skip this game and go to my first beer league game tonight, and I'm glad I did. I got jersey 98, won 3 faceoffs, scored and lost 3-1. Did the number pro.
That sounds about right.
There you go. BJD says, who's number 2 center? It has no go as constructed currently.
It's Philip Kurashev at the moment.
Yep. Ralph says, for $2, I'm tired of seeing Bedard try to dangle between two guys. I will say he is doing it more selectively now. My biggest worry and complaint about Bedard is turning over the puck at the offensive blue line. And it's happened several times this preseason. I do think when the games count, he will make safer plays, but something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. He's still got a lot of learning to do. As great as he is and as great as we think he's going to be, as Troy Murray told me the other day, he's still learning how to play at the NHL level because he never had to do a lot of those little things. He just, for his entire life up until a year ago, he just had to show up and be Connor Bedard, and that was good enough to drag a team to victory. Now he's got to learn how to do, not dangle through two guys, not turn the puck. Like, he's got to be smarter, and he's learning, and he'll get there. He's still second year, 19-year-old kid. Those things will clean up, and we'll see a better version as the season goes on.
$2 from brother Seamus says, hopefully I'm wrong, but we gonna suck. They're not gonna be a playoff team. They're gonna be better than last year.
Yes, and there's a large gap between last year and playoff team, and they'll be somewhere in that large gap.
And the gap could probably be defined as the gap sucked.
Yes.
They're still in the gap. They're just coming out of it a little bit. And then Crispy, with a super chat says, I live in Utah, and I'll be at the game. If you're looking for a good restaurant to go to, check out Valter's Osteria.
I have a problem going to places I can't pronounce.
Yeah. Go Hawks, and thanks for the pod.
Awesome. Thanks for the recommendation in the super chat.
Yeah, we'll check it out. And then Windy City Hockey says, sorry for no gummy bears today, guys. We appreciate the creepy photo, though.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Of us from a distance. Yeah.
Grainy shots from across the arena. Yeah. All right.
At least I wasn't picking my nose.
That means we won't blame you because the 300 level wasn't open. So, yes, you couldn't get up. But I do say next time you're at the game, Windy City, it's 2 bags for each person.
Yes.
Make up for the loss.
That's your penance.
Yes.
All right, let's hear from Luke Richardson before we wrap things up. But before we play Luke, a lot of people watching, not a lot of likes. Please do us a favor and hit that like button. Let's make it official. Let's do a like spike. 3, 2, 1. If you've not hit that like button, please hit it right now. It would be very, very helpful. And make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. So without any further ado, here he is, Blackhawks head coach Luke Richardson.
How concerned are you about these last 2 results?
Yeah, no, it's not fun and, not acceptable on our team play and individual play. But, it is, obviously training camp, and we're trying to iron these bugs out. And, I'd rather have this right now than, in 2 weeks from now. So, I think, we have a couple days here to work with some practice and seeing some of the glaring errors in the game. And I think the last 2 games, I think it's like we're trying to get it all back in one, and it seems to compound and make it worse. We get off of our structure and we don't execute the one-on-one plays. So, you know what? It's we talked a little bit about it after the game in the dressing room, and I don't think they're feeling very happy or comfortable with where we're at, and we aren't as well. So, it's getting right at it, and digging in, and getting better. And obviously, I think what we have to do is right now, until we find any kind of momentum, is to stop any kind of the bleeding. We got obviously we couldn't finish off the power or the penalty kill. It's pretty tough to start a game 4 minutes down. Not everybody's even on the ice and into a shift. But after that, they got a lucky bounce and smart play by them. We need to push right away. That first shift after, and get down in the ozone and sustain some pressure and get some momentum back. And I thought we were just a little concerned about getting everything back in once. So I thought we had some time offensive zone sustainability in the second and third period, maybe even at the end of the first, but we're getting a lot of shots blocked. So I don't know if we're looking for the perfect shot, or we're waiting long, or making that decision instead of making a play or holding on to it longer. We got to figure that out, and players got to figure that out quickly. So we'll show them a little bit of that and see if we can create some offense without giving up defense. It's going to be the biggest thing that we have to do going forward.
This is a team of veterans now. Are they maybe not taking the preseason all that seriously?
No, I don't think so. I think they have pride in there, and they're probably embarrassed and not happy with what went on from what I took from the bench and in the dressing room after. So that's a good sign. You know what I mean? That's they care, and to me that means we had a couple good practices this week in between last game and this game. Did we transition it into the game? No, but I think we saw the work that we did and felt good about the work, and we have to have a few more days of that obviously to really get things going in the right direction here quickly.
So part of having those veterans and that experience is are they supposed to be able to turn these kind of situations around quickly?
Yeah, I think so, and I think heard lots of the right things on the bench to get us going in the right direction, but we just couldn't pull ourselves together and get going in the right direction. But I trust those guys in the dressing room when I leave to say the right things and to get the guys motivated in the right way. You know what I mean? But it's got to be now. Now the desperation, the execution has to be now. We have one exhibition game tomorrow night, but after that we're right on. And it's not like you can be a little bit mad tonight, but a week later it doesn't really matter because there's no points lost. I think it's the way we're losing. When things go south, it just goes way downhill, and I think we have to stop that when there's a goal against or a goal for. I think the reaction has got to be really a lot better by our own team. Like, we can't score a goal and then just breathe light. Okay, we're going to come back into this game, and then we get sloppy and take penalties, and then they score in a power play, and we lost our momentum. So now we have to work twice as hard to get back. I think those are the things that the experienced guys are going to have to get across to everybody in the room, including themselves, and get on the page of the regular season, because it's right around the corner.
With half of your roster really almost being new personnel this year, and it taking time to develop chemistry on the ice together and learning each other's tendencies, is that kind of a hard thing to balance as a coach with where this organization is between wanting to see some of the young guys in the preseason and then trying to have enough ice time for that chemistry to develop?
Yeah, no, but every team has the same, and I think we have to work with what you have and try and divide it up evenly, like you said, getting some young guys some experience, but also getting the guys that are going to probably be here to start the season the right amount of reps to go forward. And you get tonight, and you think you've lost like an opportunity to get better and move forward and see some chemistry, but you know what, that's why some of the guys that are coming in have some they're veterans and they have a lot of experience. They should be able to translate quicker, and I think that's more important, to stick with the structure, especially if something goes wrong in a period, or you don't like a penalty or a call or a goal bounces in like the second one. We have to stick to the structure even more, so it doesn't look like it's coming unraveled and start chasing the game all over the place. We're a step behind everywhere, and that's sometimes what it looked like tonight. So I think that's where I trust the older guys to kind of clamp down and push through practice this week, and then that'll remember some of the little lessons that we learned, luckily, before the points start counting, and make it count next week.
How'd you like Allen and Phillips?
I don't think it was their strongest game, but it's tough when that's going bad against our team. I thought they've had better days through training camp, but that's not really a evaluation. I think you can put our whole team on that page. So you're asking about two players. I think they're probably in with a whole bunch of them. Half the team was probably in the same boat. We were just chasing it, like I said, a little bit. And those are guys that have had a little. Philly had a little bit of experience up here. Nolan's still just getting into the NHL level of experience. So I think what for them, simple is better, like I mentioned, either this morning or yesterday. And, on the most part, when they did that, I think we were pretty good tonight. But anytime, and I think, Philly had an unlucky break with a broken stick, maybe a couple times actually tonight. So that's unfortunate, and that always puts you on your heels a little bit for that shift. And sometimes it's hard to rebound right away. But you know what? They survived tonight. They're still here, and you look tomorrow, and you look for a better day tomorrow.
All right, there is Luke Richardson, and as we're sort of reading the tea leaves about tomorrow, morning skate has been canceled.
There's no morning skate, just availability with him at the Fifth Third Arena at 1:30 before they head to Milwaukee. So the fact that they originally were going to practice tomorrow, now that they're not, tells me he's running it back.
Right back. Pretty
much everybody, maybe Lucas Reichel and Anthony Ciu get in the lineup.
Wouldn't hate that.
But take Smith and Maroon out. You know what you're getting out of those guys. Take those guys out, put Anthony Ciu and Reichel in there, and then if Alec Martinez is feeling okay, maybe you play him and sit one of the kids. But yeah, certainly sounds like they're going to run it back, and I believe Drew Comesso is slated to play the whole game tomorrow.
All right, we'll see how it goes, and we will be here post-game after Hawks and Blues in Milwaukee. It's a 7 o'clock puck drop. Sarah's going to be here too. Grace, are you coming? All right, Grace will be here too.
We're getting pizza.
All right, we'll talk to everybody tomorrow after Hawks and Blues. We appreciate you being here. On your way out, please hit that like button. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.